and a very warm welcome to Bharata First. You're watching UPSC Corner with me, Frank Rausan Pereira. Since you're here, please like the video, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share the video as well so that more people get to know about Bharata First. Do subscribe to our newsletter to get some incisive content. The Bharata First team runs several quizzes. You can participate in them and improve your knowledge. If you like our content, please contribute to keep it alive. A small contribution that you make will be a giant step for us to keep bringing you this content. Let me also take this opportunity to inform you about Bharata First Knowledge Center. It's an initiative that will help each one of you in your competitive exams and transform the way you learn. Go to kc.bharatafirst.com for more details and register now. Experience a whole new way of gaining knowledge. Hundreds are already reaping the benefits of the Knowledge Center. Don't be left behind. Don't miss out. Register right now, as there's so much that we have to offer. All this information, along with some must-see recommendations, are in the description of this video. Please go through it. Well, it's time for Toppers Talk and time to meet two more individuals who have cracked the UPSC CSE 2020. One has cleared the exam in his first attempt, and the other has taken one step closer to her dreams, overcoming several challenges in life, but remaining extremely positive and optimistic all throughout. I'm extremely proud of these two young achievers who I have no doubt will do us all proud. Risabh Kumar Rewar, All India rank 104 UPSC CSE 2020, and Krati Raj, All India rank 106 UPSC CSE 2020. Big bright smiles on their faces, and it's really amazing to see young Indians do so very well. Krati, let's be chivalrous and let's start first with you, give you the opportunity to speak. How has the journey been? And we have interacted before, and when we interacted, I told you that you will make it, and I told you that I would be interviewing you as well, and here we are. Dreams do come true.
Yes, definitely we've met before, and your guidance was so helpful to me. I've never had real mentors on the journey. So, it's like the universe has sent you at the most opportune time to help me to make it. And talking about the journey, my journey has been very different from a typical UPSC aspirant's journey. I graduated from computer science, and then I made a conscious decision that I would not join the corporate. And in fact, I founded my own organization. We are an NGO, Culbrich Welfare Foundation. We take up women and child issues. And after that, it was working on the field and preparing for the civil services simultaneously, heading lots of responsibilities, juggling roles. So it's been great. It's been a roller coaster, but I wouldn't have had it any other way.
What made you think of a career in the Indian civil service? What is it? Because like you mentioned as well, prior to the program, we were discussing off camera about how you've not really interacted with any IAS officers at that level or interacted with bureaucracy at that level. So many others, say that they've seen a new district collector or a DM come to their district, and that is what inspired them to go ahead and pursue a career in the Indian bureaucracy. What was that turning point for you?
Sir, I would say for me, the turning point was looking at the deprivation. So it's the Bundelkhand region. So looking at that deprivation and being the first-hand victim of stereotyping, people have told me you're a girl, even though you're good at academics, then still, you should learn the household chores. And if you want to go for a career, then go for teaching, not civil services. So since I was told don't go for civil services because it involves field duties, I wanted to do that and prove them wrong.
Wonderful. A bit of a maverick, and maybe that's what our Indian bureaucracy needs at this point in time. And I'm sure that it will help. All the experience that you've gained over the years will definitely help. We'll talk about that in detail in just a bit. Let me go across to Rishabh now. Rishabh, lovely smile on your face. Handsome young man cracking the UPSC in your first attempt. Not an easy feat to be achieved, but it has been done. Talk us through that.
Sir, I'm still processing the whole emotions of since I got the result. The feeling hasn't sunk in yet. So currently I'm just relieved that I won't have to do it again. And I wasn't actually expecting that I'll get a good enough rank that I won't have to repeat it again. So I started my journey from during the third year of my college. So I was doing Bachelor's of Technology in Civil Engineering. And during my third year, I started exploring career options and I thought, okay, civil services is something that I might be interested in. And then I started exploring more of it. And somehow I had also had the seeds of my interests were especially sown in the Indian Foreign Service when I was a child. So my father was posted for a couple of years in the Embassy of India in Muscat. So I believe some of that carried forward when I was looking for career options. And then I started reading books about Indian Foreign Service, books of other former diplomats. And then that is what motivated me towards the whole journey. And somehow after 2.5 years, it ended on a positive note.
Is IFS or was IFS your first choice as well?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful, good. And I see you doing very, very well and wonderfully well in that service. Let's hope that you get it as well. And that is a process that will take place shortly. But wonderful to see you achieving and pursuing your dream and getting one step closer to achieving that complete dream as well. Rishabh, so when you were preparing, for your civil services for your journey, for this exam, and not having taken this exam up again, prior to this, right? And not having to take it again is what you're looking at it that way. So was anything out of the ordinary for you? What was it that was most unexpected or most challenging, do you think?
So I think the most challenging aspect of my preparation journey was figuring out what to do. So at every step, because it's a very complex examination, there are many people, they have multiple different strategies. You don't know what works for you, might not work for someone else. So throughout this whole journey, after every phase, even after every month, I was reconsidering whether I was going on the right track. Is this what's supposed to be done? Because there's no path laid out for you. There's no proper guidance available, which can be applied by anyone. So it was more of a journey of self-discovery. So I realized, what do I want to do? How do I want to do it? What should be my priorities? And throughout this self-discovery that I had in the examination, it also gave me a lot of clarity in life as well. So I think there was no one particular struggle, but I think it was and downs throughout the whole journey that I think that which was the most significant part of it.
At the end of it, would you say that maybe it wasn't that difficult after all, and I seem to have sailed through? Did you at some point in time? I'm not saying you're being you're someone with the head weight and saying that with that kind of intention, but generally on the whole, do you believe that you can actually put an effort and study with the right kind of mind frame, that it's not actually that tough?
So I do partly agree with it, because there is a perception, there is a lot of romanticization about UPSC, the whole process that is done, that it's not possible. You need to give 2-3 attempts, you need to study 18 hours a day, etc. But I think at the end of the day, it's an examination. There's a process to it, and if you have belief in your process and your strategy, I think it can be done.
So if you apply yourself, it can be done. It's not a big deal. Yeah, go ahead. You were saying something.
Yeah, so sir, it might look a bit awkward coming from me now that I've qualified for the examination, but I just want everyone to know that a few days before the results, I was like the same person, and I was also very anxious whether I'll make it or not. And so I believe everyone can make it. You just have to have some belief and some sort of discipline and strategy, and I think it can be done.
Absolutely, very, very rightly put, very rightly said. Krati, coming back to you now, I know that you've done a lot as far as social causes are concerned, because like I mentioned earlier as well, we've interacted in the past and we've interacted extensively as far as what you do and what you have done. So what happens to your social causes now? What happens to the NGO that you started and the NGO that is doing so wonderfully well for women and children?
Sir, as far as the NGO is concerned, I'm looking forward to passing the baton to someone who's as compassionate and as passionate about this work. And now I have new chapters to explore. Ever since the result came, I have not taken a break. I'm still working late nights and doing my part. I never had any credible guidance while I was preparing. So now I'm visiting underprivileged children who want to be civil servants, and I'm sharing my strategy with them. And to be very honest, I've been receiving messages like, ma'am, the interaction with you was a turning point of life. That is when it hit me, oh, now that I've cleared this exam, I have new responsibilities and new ventures and new avenues to explore. So it's all going, I mean, the means could be different, but the end is service. So whether it's through an NGO or through a governmental organization, I'm looking forward to new opportunities as of now.
You have indeed more opportunities now. You will have them going forward. You will also have the power to empower, and that is going to be a bigger responsibility as well. And having interacted with you, I know that you are someone who's not going to shy away from this and who's going to work towards building the nation brick by brick, and I have no doubts about it. You spoke about how you're sharing your strategy and you're sharing your experiences with the underprivileged and others whom you are meeting from time to time since the result was declared. Why don't you share it with us too, so that more people get to know and get to understand as to what exactly Krati did and what they should be or could be doing. Not necessarily that what works for you will work for everyone, but you can share so that some pointers can be taken by many of them around us.
Sure, sir. So my strategy was woven around the three pillars: prelims, mains, and the interview. And I added a bit of originality in my preparation. As I was working on the field, whatever I could learn from my experiences there, whatever problems I was seeing, I would just think, although I was reading books, but then beyond the books, my preparation was about thinking. And I would think, how will I solve this on my own level? How would I solve this if I had some sort of authority? So all of that was different. And presentation also, I was brutal during the preparation. Like, I was totally grilling myself all through the preparation. For prelims, I had solved around 100 mock tests, and I went back and revised each one of them. I revised them twice, so that kind of made a difference in this attempt. For the mains, I knew I would be writing in cold, so I used to get up at 3 a.m. and put my hand under cold running water, and I would let it freeze and write a paper of 3 hours with that hand. So I was doing all of that in the practice sessions. So when I finally went to write my mains, it went very smooth. I could finish all the papers. Also, one thing that I did differently was I maintained a small diary. And in that, I would just quote like 10, 20 examples of the important reports, important judgments. So I had a lot of further points to add to my answers, using lots of diagrams and maps. So these are the things that I did differently. And I think it worked for me in this attempt.
My God, quite intense, I must say, and quite contrasting to what Rishabh has been through. But what works for you works for you. What works for someone else works for that person. So wonderful and good to hear all of this, because if those who are listening can understand exactly what it takes to clear this exam and what it takes, to prepare and how you have to prepare for something like this. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And Rishabh, coming to you now. Since the prelims are just around the corner and everyone is focused on trying to clear the prelims and try to understand what exactly to do with regards to prelims, what was your strategy like as far as prelims were concerned? And did you have any last minute tricks or last minute hacks that you used?
So, sir, my strategy initially was to just be done with my notes and give a lot of tests, but somehow that could not happen, because when the COVID lockdown happened in March in 2020, we all had to leave our college, and I thought it'll be for 1 week and we'll go back. And I left all my books in my hostel room. I could not access them for 2-3 months. So I started making my own notes again on, I used the OneNote platform. I made all my notes again. I gave a lot of tests. As Krati said, I also gave around 150, 160 mock tests. And I added whatever I learned from those tests, whatever extra information, I added them to my online notes. And at the end of the day, a week before the prelims or 10 days before the prelims, all I had to do was read those notes, which were consolidated, which were made by me. So, and the second part of the question, what some hacks before the examination? I believe one thing that is most important in prelims is confidence in yourself, because at the end of the day, even the topper won't be knowing more than 50 questions absolutely correctly. And the rest is about how do you work out based on the options, how do you eliminate options. And for that, you need to have some sort of self-belief that if you don't know the question, probably no one else also knows that. And having that confidence throughout the 2 hours, it definitely helped me, because there were many questions I could eliminate options, I could attempt confidently. And I think if I had lost confidence seeing the first few questions, which were very tricky, I might have panicked. So I believe my suggestion to everyone who's giving prelims this time is to be self-assured, have some confidence, have belief in your preparation, and be very focused while giving while dealing with the questions. And I think everything will work out.
Wonderful, great tips, and I hope that it works. It has definitely worked for the both of you, so I'm sure it will work for others as well. Krati, what was your optional subject, and how did you go about preparing for your optional, and what were some of the challenges did you, if any, that you faced along your preparation journey?
Sir, my optional was public administration. And for the optional, I kept my sources very limited. So, I just read some basic coaching notes. That too, like I was doing majorly self-study, and I did lots of writing practice. Even though the challenges I'll talk about is, even though my coaching assessments would sometimes make reviews that do not agree to, like they will tell me do not include diagrams, write in just paragraphs. And I would analyze the topper copies on my own self, and I would think, no, this is going to work. So a lot of self-belief went into my optional, because people were not approving of what I was doing. And somehow it worked for me, because I ended up getting good marks. They're pretty good marks. So that was it. Also, one thing that I did extra was I made notes of second ARC reports. That helped me immensely in paper 2, where the application bit was concerned. And I used my field experiences as examples in my papers. So my examples were different from the other candidates. So as I told you, maintaining the originality is important.
Absolutely, and it's something that I've been reiterating and something that I've been saying all along, because we can't know more than what the invigilators know, and that's why they are invigilators, and that's why they are checking the papers. So there is no way that we can outsmart them with the kind of information that we have. The only way that we can do it is by bringing in our own experiences and bringing in something different that the others can't bring in, and making it a holistic experience for the invigilator. That's what we are in right now, isn't it? I mean, everyone is trying to give experiences to the others. If you go to a 5-star hotel, they say we're going to give you this experience. If you go abroad, they're going to say we're going to give you this package and this experience. So it's all about experiences now, and the same thing must be incorporated in answer writing as well, so that you stand out from the others and give the invigilator an experience that he or she can't forget, and give you those marks that are required. Anyways, Rishabh, your optional subject and your sources of preparation for the optional subject.
So my optional was geography, and so in geography there are many books. I almost had around 15 books, and it was very overwhelming to cover all of them. So it took me almost 2-3 months to understand what is required from those books, what needs to be read, what needs not to be read. So my strategy was to skim through those books, the relevant portions, and make my own notes and consolidate them again and again. And again, as Kriti said, write a lot of tests. And my focus while giving the geography optional examination or while writing the test was the presentation aspect of it. So in geography, there's a lot of scope for adding diagrams, for adding maps, for adding flowcharts. So I focused a lot on enriching this answer, which it should be visually pleasant. It should be appeasing, so that one looks at the answer, oh, there's a map, and he might even give you a few extra marks. So my whole strategy was to overkill on presentation, even though content, everyone has almost the same content. So my focus was on the presentation part of it, and somehow it worked out.
Exactly, giving an experience at the end of the day and doing something different, and not something that is mundane, tried and tested, but doing something. If you look at the pattern of the questions as well, the UPSC is trying to make it more and more difficult, more and more unconventional, so that the playing field is level and everybody gets an equal opportunity, which is great and which is good, because that's how it should be. Wonderful. And coming down finally to your personality tests, Krati, how was that? Was it as expected? Was it difficult? Was it different? What was the experience like?
It was entirely different from whatever I had expected or the mocks I had given. So I found out I was going the last, like I was the last candidate for the day. And instead of being discouraged, the immediate thought was, okay, then I'll be the showstopper today. So that was the kind of attitude I had maintained for those 4 long hours when I was waiting there. And when I entered, the first question they asked me was like, did you have lunch? Because you have been waiting for a very long time. And I told them that no, I didn't have lunch, but I had 2 breakfasts before coming here. And everybody started laughing at that. So it became very light, very friendly, and it almost felt like a conversation. It was so smooth that it didn't really feel as if they were interviewing me. And it was solely based on my experiences, whatever I have been doing during my journey in the last 4 5 years, my organization, the work we have undertaken, and even the follow-ups was the follow-ups were majorly from these areas. My hobby of public speaking was also a major topic there, and it went very smooth. I felt it lasted 10 to 15 minutes, but then when I came out, they informed me it was 25 minutes. So it was good.
Good. That's wonderful. Not keeping or not having track of time means it has all gone well.
Yeah.
Rishabh, what about your experience with the interview?
I had a wonderful experience as well. It was again a very smooth conversation. Most of the conversation was around international relations and IFS and those things. So I was fairly comfortable in that when it came to those questions. So, and it was a very pleasant conversation in the sense that whenever I was saying, they were reaffirming me. They were trying to comfort me. They were nodding. They were picking up what I said and asking questions on that in zones which I was more comfortable with. So I felt quite comfortable. I did not want the conversation to end. Basically, I thought let's continue. So that's how my experience went, and it was around 34-35 minutes when I came out. The person told me it went for 34-35 minutes. So I think it was more of a once in a lifetime experience, because when again will such experienced people be interested in my life, in my opinions, my views? So I thought that was a matter of great honor.
Wonderful. I'm so happy and I'm so glad to be hearing all these stories from you and all these real life experiences as well. And I would think and I would like to believe, that I've had a small part to play in where the both of you are today. And it makes me feel a lot more satisfied and a lot more happy. And I'm really pleased as well with everything that I am doing. It just kind of reassures me that I'm doing something right, I'm doing something good, and I should continue on this path. And that's the feeling that I have. And I revel in the success of all of you as well, because I believe that I've played just a little bit of that part in your lives too.
So,
Sir, I would say it was a huge part for me. I mean, it is all because of your guidance. You've actually pinpointed stuff like where to improve, how to say it. So I think I've not gotten such kind of feedback anywhere. It was largely due to your guidance. I'm really, really thankful to you.
That's so kind of you and so sweet of you, Krati, to admit it, because not many people are willing to admit things like that, but it means a lot. And like I said, it just I feel good about what I'm doing. That's all I can say. I don't want to say anything more than that. Yeah, Rishabh, you were saying something. Sorry.
Yes, I also wanted to say that it was a little bit more than a little part. You had a huge role, especially in I believe in every UPSC aspirant journey, because everyone started preparing by following Big Picture, and now they're continuing the following your channel. And during my interview preparation, I was especially I felt advantage. It was very relevant to me because many of the discussions are on international relations. I'm especially a fan of the security analysis episodes and videos that you release. So I think throughout the journey, you had a great role. And I would also, I wish that the whole initiative reaches the great heights it should. And I'm seeing it rising. So I'm very happy.
I'm sure. Thank you so very much. Very kind of you. I'm sure it will, because there is no malintention in anything that we are doing. It's all for the betterment of the nation. It's betterment for the society. And when your intentions are right, you can't go wrong. It's as simple as that. And when you do something in the name of Bharat Mata, she will ensure that it takes you forward and you don't have to worry about anything else. We are just pawns in her hands, and we'll just continue to do her bidding. Wonderful, wonderful. And before I finally let the both of you go, any words of advice that you would like to give to any one of those youngsters who want to follow in your footsteps, starting first with you, Krati?
Sir, I would give two pieces of advice here. One is relevant to UPSC exam. You have to be very clear with your why you want to get into the services, and let that why fuel you. And even though if your why is, if your why is very strong, you will figure out the how part. Experiment and you'll figure it out. Coming to the next advice is that as an individual, we should always keep growing and keep exploring. The world tries to fit you in boxes. So never be afraid to break out of that box. Be yourself and be brave to be yourself. That will help you even in the examination as well as life. Life is so much bigger than this examination. So just be, accepting towards life and to the universe. So I would say just be hopeful, keep that optimism, the humanity alive in yourself, and wherever you go, you'll find ample opportunities to serve.
So beautifully put. I don't want to add anything more to it and spoil what you just said. Rishabh?
So after that, even I don't have anything significant to add, but I would like to re-emphasize the motivation part of it. Why do you want to do that? Because during the journey, when you face hurdles, when you feel down, it is only that part. Why are you doing it? Why did you started this journey? That will make you rise up. So I believe that should be kept in mind. And one aspect of the how I think it might be relevant to everyone is to not shy away from giving a lot of tests, be it prelims, be it mains, be it interview. Practice it again and again and again. As many times you do it, I think you get the dividends while you're in the examination room. So I think one thing that everyone can follow is give a lot of tests.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful interacting with Rishabh and Krati. I'm so happy to have done this. And Krati, like I'd already promised you, that we will be interacting once you clear the UPSC exam. We've done it, and that promise has been fulfilled as well. So I expect something back from you sometime soon. What it is, I don't know. That's totally left up to you. And Rishabh, since I've played a little bit of a part in your life, I'd expect something from you as well. Maybe a box of good Rajasthani sweets. I don't know what. So I'm going to leave it to you. I don't need anything else. And thank you so very much for being here. I wish you the very best in your future endeavors. And I know that your future is bright. And I know that each of you is going to serve this nation with a lot of pride, and you're going to ensure that I am made proud and everyone close to you is made proud as well. And I have no doubts about it. I wish you the very best, and I send you along on this wonderful journey to go and be achievers and make us all proud. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us here.
And before I go, once again, let me remind you to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share the video as well so that more people get to know about Bharata First. Do subscribe to our newsletter to get some incisive content. The Bharata First team runs several quizzes. You can participate in them and improve your knowledge. If you like our content, please contribute to keep it alive. A small contribution that you make will be a giant step for us to keep bringing you this content. Let me also take this opportunity to inform you about Bharata First Knowledge Center. It's an initiative that will help each one of you in your competitive exams and transform the way you learn. Go to kc.bharatafirst.com for more details. Experience a whole new way of gaining knowledge. Hundreds are already reaping the benefits of the Knowledge Center. Don't be left behind. Don't miss out. Register right now, as there's so much that we have to offer. All this information, along with some must-see recommendations, are in the description of the video. Please go through it. That's it from me. See you again next time.